Shadow President Elon Musk and Doge suffered a brutal defeat in court today, with the presiding judge declaring that Musk and Doge likely violated the Constitution in multiple ways. In response to this, a triggered Elon Musk is now targeting the judge's family, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we're going to dive into this, but the headline from Mediaite is just in. Elon Musk and Doge found by federal judge to have violated the Constitution in multiple ways. A federal judge found on Tuesday that Elon Musk and Doge may have violated the Constitution by moving to shut down USAID. And again, we will dive into the particulars of this, but just to give you a predicate, this is how Elon Musk responded. So Charlie Kirk of TPUSA says, breaking, Obama-appointed District Judge Theodore Chung has ordered the restoration of USAID, claiming its shutdown violated the United States Constitution. In case it wasn't explicit enough that the only two clauses of the left's Constitution were thou shalt have open borders and all American money be sent abroad. Elon Musk responded to that with indeed. But then something more sinister happened. A Twitter user named Amuse says, lawfare. Obama judge has ordered Trump to restart USAID functions, claiming without evidence that acting USAID director Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, didn't have the authority to lay off staff and redirect the agency's efforts. He argued that scaling back the agency was unconstitutional. To which Elon Musk replied, if I can find it here, of course I have him blocked, is, do this judge's family and friends benefit from NGO money? Now, we've seen in the past when MAGA and Trump receive court rulings that they don't like, that the judge's family members or spouses get targeted in terms of not just scrutiny, but very often threats as well. Sometimes even, really harsh language and fixation from Donald Trump himself. And you're seeing that here. What the hell are you talking about? What evidence do you have for that claim in the first place? And what bearing does it have on the judge's ruling? Here you have one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful man on earth, the shadow president of the United States, the richest man on earth, the most popular or most viral figure on Twitter, a platform he owns, bringing the judge's family members and friends and casting aspersions against them simply because he received a court ruling he didn't like. It's truly sinister and authoritarian stuff, mafia tactics. So let's get into the ruling itself. Elon Musk and Doge likely violated the Constitution by shutting down USAID. Musk's attempts to shut down the U.S. Agency for International Development through his so-called Department of Government Efficiency, quote, likely violated the Constitution in multiple ways, according to a federal judge's ruling. District Judge Theodore Chung in Washington, D.C., granted a preliminary injunction that temporarily blocks Doge from access to any USAID systems and from doing, quote, any work related to shutting down the agency. Tuesday's order follows a lawsuit from a group of recently fired USAID workers and contractors who argued that the world's richest man, who promised to put the global aid agency into a wood chipper, was wielding unconstitutional authority under Donald Trump to dismantle entire federal agencies and gut the federal workforce. The judge's order commands Musk and Doge to reinstate access to email and payment systems for all USAID employees and contractors and blocks the administration from taking any other actions to try to shutter the agency, including firing workers or placing them on leave, deleting websites, shutting bureaus, and closing buildings. Damn, that's comprehensive. Within 2 weeks, Musk and Doge must ensure the court that the agency staff will be able to reoccupy USAID's Washington headquarters, where signage was removed and covered in black tape following the administration's attempt to fire hundreds of workers and cut off funding that supported dozens of life-saving missions around the world. Chung's ruling determined that the administration likely violated the Constitution's appointment clause and separation of powers by effectively granting Musk unprecedented authority despite holding no official role without Senate confirmation or appointment to an existing office to be able to make such sweeping decisions. Quote, the record demonstrates that, at least during the time period relevant to this motion, Musk was, at minimum, likely the official performing the duties and functions as administrator of the U.S. Doge Service, the agency that Trump renamed from the U.S. Digital Service upon taking office and empowered Musk to lead. Damn. Now, I'll tell you, people who are not happy about it is Fox News and Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn. This was their immediate response to the judge's ruling.
basis, quote, to basically reinstate the agency's statutory functions. We saw them literally removing the letters off the outside of the building for USAID, Senator. What's your reaction to that?
This is more of your Trump derangement syndrome. This is more of these activist judges. So here you have a judge who is standing up for wasting taxpayer money. It is not the judge's money. It is not the court's money. This is money that hard-working taxpayers have earned and sent to Washington, D.C. And if they're going to decide they don't want to pay for Sesame Street in Iraq or DEI education in another country or trans surgeries in another country. Martha, the American people have spoken. They gave Donald Trump a mandate on November 5th. He is carrying that out. He made promises. He is keeping those promises.
So a couple of things. Obviously, Marsha Blackburn, one of the genuinely dumbest members of the United States Senate, who should be relentlessly mocked for her stupidity and her hypocrisy. Donald Trump was not given a mandate. Donald Trump won the popular vote by a plurality. He didn't even win a majority. More people cast a ballot against Donald Trump than cast it for him. He won by, I think, 1.5% compared to the ass-kicking he got from President Biden in 2020 by about 7 million votes. 7 million more people voted for President Biden than Donald Trump. So if what Trump did in 2024 was a landslide, then what Biden got in 2020 was an avalanche, and that didn't stop these losers like Marsha Blackburn from trying to impede the president's agenda. Imagine if I had told her in 2020, hey, Marsha, shut up because Biden got an avalanche of a mandate and you're obligated to shut up and do whatever the president wants. How would she react? She would say, no, of course not. I'm a duly elected member of the United States Senate. I'm of the opposing party. I disagree with President Biden, and I have every right to try to oppose his agenda. Right? Of course she does, even though I would disagree with that. But now she's saying, no, Donald Trump won the election, so everybody, from citizens to judges, just needs to do whatever Donald Trump wants. Lady, that's not how it works. It will never work that way. Nobody cares what you think on that. But also this idea that Donald Trump is given a blank check to do whatever he wants, just on the merits of it, is absurd. Take the mandate out of the equation. Even if it had popular support, even if the polling was overwhelming, that everybody loved Elon Musk, which they don't, he's very unpopular. He's increasingly unpopular, even with Republicans. And even if Doge in practice was really popular, and it's not, it's increasingly unpopular, doesn't change the fact that we have a constitutional democratic republic. What is it that members of Marsha Blackburn's party used to famously say every time they lost a popular vote? We don't live in a democracy. We live in a republic. It's not about popular vote. Now they're changing their tune and moving the goalpost because very rarely, this is like the first time in 20 years, that they won the popular vote at the presidential level. So now they want to latch on to that. Well, again, we have systems in place and institutions, including a judiciary, which has some influence on the federal government's activities, meaning that whatever's popular doesn't always get its way. If that were the case, there would be very few Republicans in power because they're almost always on the wrong side of popular issues. Not always, but almost always. So none of that makes sense whatsoever. They're just upset that Elon Musk got caught with his hand in the cookie jar and a federal judge smacked him down for it. And I imagine the reaction from Musk and Trump will become increasingly unhinged as the day progresses. But there you have it. Trump and Musk suffer a brutal defeat in court. They may or may not disregard the order. They've had a recent history of disregarding court orders that they don't like. They will almost certainly appeal, and it could be overturned on appeal. I want to make this very clear. This is likely not the end of the story. But for now, Musk was defeated in court. He's not taking it well. Republicans are not taking it well. And we'll see what happens next. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.